Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 1018, directed by Kenichi Takeshita and supervised by Kenji Yokoyama. It's only natural for an episode that immediately follows the madness of last week to be a little more conservative on the visual side of things. But I feel like the preview for this one showed enough small but cool little bits of either storyboard or animation that I'm willing to bet that this one won't be completely conservative all the way through. Sure, Kenji Yokoyama himself will definitely likely handle a good portion of the action that will be put on display here, but I'm just looking forward to what else it can offer, even if it's not very much else than that, and also I'm just a pretty big fan of Takeshita's atmospheric feeling as a director. So will episode 1018 be mostly tame with a few little goodies packed in that paint a better overall picture? Let's head back to the action once more and find out. This episode covers the entirety of chapter 1003, and I understand why the last round 1 episode for Roof Piece would be a bit on the slower side, but I feel like some action could have maybe been added here and there because due to the chapter's inherent nature of being basically all action, the episode ends up coming off pretty slow, with very little in the way of added action and instead chock full of letting moments have their sweet ass time, which can often bog down the overall momentum of the episode when some scenes are like that and others are done well and over in a flash, and makes it feel very stop and go in terms of general progression. Now that of course isn't exactly Takeshita's fault obviously, and what he still manages to do directorially with music choices and the like is still fairly solid, aside from maybe wanting more impact from the hybrid Kaido tease at the end, but it makes the episode feel a bit disjointed because of that, and yeah, I understand fully of course why they didn't add any real new action, because they'd like to make an episode that's a bit easier on the staff after the past couple. But it does unfortunately still make the episode suffer pacing wise and makes it so some moments come off a little weirdly in my opinion. If anything, Takeshita's board at the very least really likes to emphasize scale over anything. And in a battle like this, that's something that I definitely appreciate and something that I feel gives this episode as a whole and the attacks within it some proper weight to them. Especially so when the animation can be on the more limited side. But there are a few times where things can maybe get a little too crowded for scenes that are trying to be large in scope, but that's only here and there. And I think Takeshita's knack for ambience and really calm scenes with little sound effects going on is properly displayed within the CP0 scene. That in both angles and just general compositions is the nicest part of the episode, and has the correct sound design to accompany it. Now I will say that some of the compositing, like the layers of smoke around some scenes and the overbearing gradients during some cutaways, weren't really my thing, but otherwise Takeshita's board is one that mostly understands the assignment and largely helps an episode that's buoyed by Kenji Yokoyama's corrections in animation, as well as a few little bits of neat animation by others. As expected, it's mostly an episode that is made in a way so the staff can have a bit of a calm moment after the rip-roaring nature of the past few episodes, but I think what hurts this episode more than anything is the pacing of it, which I understand fully, but it still makes what would have been a largely inoffensive episode a bit less solid overall, even with the things it has going for it directorially. Maybe we'll have more luck with it all next week with episode 1019 that for some reason looks a lot better than it should. With our first big break from Roof Piece, the content that Oda chose to cut to is definitely not all that exciting, but director Ryosuke Tanaka looks to be filling it with a lot of fun little bits of direction here and there, as well as some surprisingly well executed action animation for something coming off of Roof Piece. And that makes me look forward to it all quite a fair bit, which is surprising for an episode that revolves around Tama. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and CG Kaido is definitely a bigger help than you really all think.